Oh. Oh. So what's happening, fellas? We got Sooner on here. We got River Fishers on there. I seen Tom was up there somewhere. He's way up the top now. Sooner says, ready for the knowledge. Well, I don't know about knowledge, but I can talk fishing for sure. So right on, been hauling concrete all day, pouring cabins up at the Ouachita, Oklahoma. Dude, you can have that. I don't have no part in that. Oh. Wait for a couple other guys to get in here. We'll start live stream off. We got to wait for old Mr. Gabe to join us here. I sent him the invite, just waiting for him to show up here. He should be here any minute. Bill, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you much lately. M&K Outdoors, how's it going from New Jersey? Nice to see you joining the live stream. We'll get rolling here shortly. Get a couple more people in here. Like I said, wait for Gabe to show up in here. He should be on here any second, so. Or it should be. I don't know. You guys, he's always fashionably late. You guys know that, so. Hank Snow Outdoors. What is going on, Hank? I haven't been seeing you post too many fish pictures here lately. What's going on? Are you? Oh, wait, never mind. Don't answer that. I know. Don't even say that word on this show. I already know. Ochi needs to hop on. Definitely, dude. I don't see him too much anymore. He's been kind of doing his YouTube thing, getting some more fishing videos. So I hope he sticks with it. I think he's got to have a good thing going. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Sooner Fishing on here, you need to go check him out. He's pretty good little watch there. He does a lot of little pond fishing stuff with his family, and he catches catfish, bass, all kinds of stuff. So he's a pretty good little show to watch. And Mr. Bob, hey, how's things going? Weather sucks. Needs some more warm weather. I couldn't agree more, Bob. Actually, I don't care about the warm weather as nearly as much as I do the stable weather. We just need stable weather. We had those couple days there. It was hitting like 80 degrees. Man, fish were moving up. I was like, oh, here it comes. And then we got slammed with, I don't know, what was it, like 30 degrees the next morning or some crap. It was ridiculous. So, white whale fishing, what's going on, dude? Hopefully the little one's taking it easy on you, letting you get some time away to do some videos. MK says 80-mile-per-hour wind gust here in New Jersey today. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got the same stuff. I know I was talking with Asleep at the Reel. He's another YouTube guy. If you guys haven't seen him, he does a lot of crappie stuff. He got a pretty cool channel. He does a lot of really good editing too. But I was talking to him yesterday before his live stream, and he had like tornado watches and all kinds of stuff. He was showing me pictures of stuff that got blown over. So they had it pretty bad. We got it last night, and it wasn't terrible here. Had some lighting, some stuff like that, but it wasn't too bad. But I'm sure that's probably what you guys are getting up north now. So, but it was windy all day long here today. I mean, it was just probably straight 20, 25 mile an hour winds constantly all day long. So we're officially, I have a bunch of videos I need to edit. Got 74 fish on camera and can't edit it because my computer and my phone won't work to edit the footage. Oh man, that sucks, dude. Yeah, I tell you what, you can ask anybody that's been on my channel for a while, man. I played absolute hell trying to edit videos and stuff on my old computer. Buying a new computer, that was probably my biggest saving grace right there. I mean, it was an absolute nightmare. David, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Nice you to join us. Let's see. Sooner says, appreciate the shout out. No problem, man. Absolutely. Like I said, I don't know about knowledge, but we'll talk fishing for sure. Riverfish Michigan is under wind advisory. Yeah. It has finally calmed down about an hour ago. Yeah, I think it was probably 2 hours ago. It finally started calming down here. I had a couple younger gentlemen come over and fish my backyard pond here. I think they caught one. They weren't doing too good. That pond, it's still pretty rough right now. They just haven't turned on and just not interested in much of anything. So Mark says I'm awake. Yeah, I'll say it's about your bedtime, Mark, 7 o'clock. So barely. Oh, I'm feeding her on my lap right now. Mom's got the towel. Morning's got the toddler tornado to deal with. Oh man, I don't miss those days, man. That's for sure. That stuff's way behind me for now. Now I got the grandkids that come over, so but they're not bad. I mean, they sleep in pretty good most of the time and don't have a problem with listening over here. So, Cody Peels, how's it going, dude? Trevor, let's see. I would try to Vajinski. I'll try to say it. I probably butchered it. I'm sorry, man. Carl Stokes, how's it going, man? See, McKay, what editing software do you guys all use? We use Adobe Premiere Pro. It's good for a few videos, and then it gets buggy. Very frustrating. Really, I haven't heard any bad things about Adobe Premiere. I know quite a few people that use it, and they haven't said anything. I use the Filmora 9, which isn't all that great of an editing software, but it works real great. Tin Horse Monty, I know he uses I think it's called Vegas, and he really enjoys that. Says he has a lot of really good responses out of that. Doesn't have any problems or nothing. Speaking of the monster, let's get him on here. And there he is.
What's up, folks?
Fashionably late as usual.
That's me, man. Had to go up and wash the fish off of my hands.
Oh man, don't even just come. Look at you rubbing it in on screen already.
Yeah, I literally dumped the boat off in the garage, ran upstairs, changed shirts, washed my hands, brushed my teeth, and here I am.
Gotcha, man. So
yeah.
you had so Gabe and I talked a little bit earlier, but I'll let him kind of tell you guys how his day went here. I'm gonna catch up on a few little comments here as he goes through, kind of explains his day.
I need to do the live comments thing before I forget. Last time I made that mistake. I think I got it. Okay, yeah, here we go. Awesome. It's kind of new to me. No, I went over to Kincaid today. And as you guys know, there was a nasty cold front came through last night, so it was pretty chilly in the morning. I waited till I didn't get over there till about 11 o'clock, and it was still like 41 degrees. The wind was blowing about 20 miles an hour out of the north. But luckily, the sun came out and made it a whole lot nicer. And I was the only boat over there when I pulled in the parking lot. Last time I was over there, about 3-4 weeks ago, there was like 40 boats in the parking lot. So as I was getting everything ready, another guy pulled up, and when I left, there was only 2 other boats in the parking lot. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's been a while since you've been to a lake. I was talking to Ron a while ago, and he said there was hardly anybody on Egypt today either. So,
which I mean, it is Monday.
It is Monday, of course. Yeah, it is Monday. But I think that cold weather kind of kept people home today. The people that would normally be out there.
Yeah, I seen up here a while ago. It was let me see who asked that. Whitewell said, "How cold is it up here?" I said they're freezing tonight. We're freezing tonight too. I think actually we got snow flurries or something coming tonight. Isn't that what did you hear that?
I don't know, man. I'm not surprised. I know the next 3 or 4 days is supposed to be in the low 30s.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like I said a while ago, they were talking about need warmer weather. I'd just be happy with stable weather for right now.
Yeah, this is that time of year. It's up and down. The water was still, it was like 58, and I did see 60, like 0.4 back in some of those north-facing pockets. But I'm sure that's dropped quite a bit. I mean, I would imagine it was like 62, 63 just a couple of days ago. Yeah,
I know when I went Saturday, I was hitting like 56, 57. And that was in the back of the coves where it was shallow too.
Right.
So I guess that lake just kind of cooled off a little bit. I'm sure all the rain running into it didn't help it any either.
Yeah, that was a cold rain. See, Bill, what's up, Bill? Good to see you in here, man. Got MK Outdoors. The River Fishers. Okie is here. Cool.
Yep, Mr. Okie and Bill.
White whale.
Did you see this?
Yeah, man. Got to wear that face mask. It's crazy. I think, man, I'm hoping it's starting to level out now. I don't know. It's been like a month, I think, a month since they started, quarantining everybody, and everybody's been the stay-at-home order, especially like in New York and Illinois and stuff.
I'm hoping to talk about that here next month so we can get back on the water and do our normal thing. It'd be nice.
Right.
Like I told you, I'm not traveling over state line for nothing. So
yeah, I've been real.
It hurts me a little bit because you know what lakes I've got here. It's not that great. So
right. Yeah, I just been really mindful. My day pretty much consists of stopping up here at the gas station, and I'll take a I'll take a paper towel or a glove and just hold on to the gas pump. And then I got hand sanitizer when I get back in it. And that's the only contact I really have. You know,
Right.
once you get to the lake, you're touching your gear, you're touching your boat. If you're driving, you're the only one that's touching your steering wheel, and you launch and come back in. So you never really have to have contact with anybody. There's been a few guys that have kind of gotten close to try to talk fishing and stuff, but
Now that dang game warden, that's the guy that worries me. He always wants to get close and talk.
Yeah, I went out to Lake Gerardo. You know what? It's kind of cool. They're being pretty cool right now. I went to Lake Gerardo. I think it was like Thursday after work. I took my daughter out there for a couple hours, and the game warden was out there, and he wasn't checking anybody. He was just kind of checking things over. There was a few boats out there. It was pretty laid back, you know. He wasn't hassling anybody, so it was nice to see. You know, I actually when I pulled up, I saw him, and I'm like, oh no, because this is my new boat, and I thought I had everything good in there, and I do, but I was worried. I like looked around, make sure I had my extinguisher, because I had it kind of hidden under the front deck, and I got a whistle in there. I had a throw cushion. I had the life jackets. I got nervous there for a second.
Yep. Now, I'm going to ask you. I've never looked this up, and I just never even thought about it. But I've got an air horn, which I guess is just as good as the whistle, I would think.
Yeah, I think you got to have either one.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got like a bright orange whistle. That's just what I've always had.
I'm sure my grandkids would take off with that at some point if I had that in there.
Oh yeah, that's fun, blowing a whistle out in the lake, you know, making everybody happy.
Yeah.
Just letting them know you're out there too.
Especially when you're bed fishing.
So Aaron, you went to,
let's see.
Aaron went to Egypt.
Didn't get to wet a line this weekend, but I did get to work on some food plots. Well, nothing wrong with that. I'll say in my neck of woods, you didn't miss nothing. I'll say that. So Tom said, just staying inside, avoiding the cold front, and he's talking to Whitewell. Okay. Let's see. Let me catch back up here. Had a bunch of them come in here. Let's see. Aaron said not many at Egypt yesterday either. So he went fishing over there. Oh, she said, "What's up, you filthy heathens?" Talking fishing, man. A little pre-spawn and some spawn. We'll get into that here in a minute. Did you get your baits?
I talked to Ron. Somebody was talking about Egypt. Talked to Ron a while ago on the way home, and he didn't get on the water till about 3:30, and he'd caught 10 or 11 already. So I guess they're biting over there this afternoon.
Gotcha. Did you get your baits?
I do.
Okay.
I got like 7 or 8 rods sitting here. I just took them out of my truck and just brought them in the living room down here and just got everything set up.
Gotcha. I had to go and cover my boat and dig some stuff out real quick. I don't have all the colors I wanted, but I've got the majority of what I want to show here. So.
Yeah, I see MK Outdoors on here. He's talking about editing software. You might already went over that, but I use the Vegas Movie Studio Platinum, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I knew it was Vegas something. I couldn't remember the actual name of it.
Yeah, it's a 16. I think they have a 17 out now, and it's worked pretty good for me. My problem is my computer's a little bit slow, so that's going to be my next upgrade. I'm gonna get something like what Greg's running there, something that'll keep up with everything I want to do.
Yeah. I've seen Whitewell said in there he had a 52-degree drop 4 days ago from 85 to 32. Yeah, that's what we had too.
Jeez.
It was bad. Like I said, it shut them fish down pretty bad. Let's see.
Yeah.
Hank Snow said, "What's up, Gabe?"
What's going on, Hank?
Whitewell. Jeremy Pickett, how's it going, man? See, we're starting to be flattening the curve here in New Jersey. Yeah, McKay, that's what we were hoping for. That's for sure. Did you hear about? Let's see. Did you hear about what our governor is doing here in Michigan? I haven't heard nothing. Luring in the background, really creepy like Oklahoma's worst angler. The bearded garden gnome just creeping around.
Trying to get all these comments here.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up here. Let's see. That's extreme in Michigan, the river fishers. McKay said mostly saltwater fishing and all beaches, jetty, rocks, docks are all closed. The few freshwater ponds I fish are now closed. Man, I heard that Florida. I guess Florida locked it down a lot harder than most people, or a lot more than most states, I should say. So we talked to Hank all the time, and that's what he was kind of saying too. And he's down in, I think he's Orlando area, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Okie says, make sure you drop these guys a thumbs up. Don't make me find you. I have a particular set of skills. That's awesome, Okie. Let's see. Jeremy said, are you guys allowed to come fish in Illinois right now? Actually, Jeremy, we were just talking about that. Gabe was just over there. It's not that we're not allowed to. I was telling Gabe earlier, one of the deals of, my wife has got really, really bad asthma, and I don't want to take any chances right now. And I'm not saying I would bring something home or whatever. I personally just don't want to take that chance right now. So. Yeah.
Jeremy I've been over there. I fished Cedar and Kincaid. I haven't been to Egypt in quite a while, but like I said earlier, I've just been driving straight there. I haven't been stopping anywhere. So as far as me personally infecting anybody, if I was to have that virus, it's not going to happen. I haven't been eating any place. I haven't been shopping. I haven't been getting any fuel over there. I got a gas station that's quarter of a mile from my house, and that's where I stop and fuel up, and then I just drive straight to the lake and straight back. So I'm not hurting Illinois for sure.
You see that?
Chimichangas, dude. I eat chimichangas all the time. I got this we buy these little soft shell tacos, and I've been making I'll put some avocado, some cheese. I'll even take ham, grill up the ham. I got a chicken version soft taco. It's kind of like a street taco. Then I've got a ham version and I've got a turkey version. I just kind of mix it up, and I got the kids eating it. You can buy a 20 pack of those little tortilla shells. You can make all kinds of stuff with them. We even put peanut butter and jelly on them the other day and rolled them up.
Oh God, you're killing me. No.
Yeah.
No peanut butter and jelly.
It's good stuff, man.
You make me dry heave on live stream here. Ugh.
Yeah, those are great for in the boat too. You don't have to keep them cold.
The only time I mention peanut butter and jelly is when I'm talking jigs. That's it.
That's good.
Speaking of jigs, Moccasin's in the house. How's it going, dude?
What's up, Moccasin?
Oh, man.
Aaron says, Greg seen 2 trucks yesterday at Pyramid Ramp at Egypt from Missouri. Oh, okay, yeah.
Like I said, we can go over there. Like I said, that's my personal. I personally don't want to do it. So.
Right. Yeah, a lot of guys I've been fishing by myself. I've been with Jerry a couple times, but I've just been trying to stay by myself because I don't know my line of work. I'm a letter carrier, so I'm coming in contact with a lot of mailboxes, and I've been using hand sanitizer, gloves, just being real diligent about wiping things down. So I'm doing all I can do to stay safe. And we're fortunate that we're not up in a big city like St. Louis or Chicago or Kansas City. Our numbers down here are minimal.
Yeah. Oh, I see Mr. Denny Hall made it in here. What's going on, man? Got Steve Rohn says, I killed it at Kincaid Saturday. The bite was on. That's awesome, dude. I actually talked to somebody I work with. He fished over there Friday and said it was on pretty good. They caught a lot of fish. Which for Kincaid, like Gabe and I were talking earlier, that's not something real common in the last probably, what do you say, Gabe, probably 5, 6, 7 years?
Yeah, it's been hit and miss for me. That's probably the lake I fish the least, though. I only get over there a couple times a year, so I'm really not too much of a person to ask about that. But I've been watching the tournament sacks, and the last 3 years the weights have gotten pretty thick. I mean, in the spring, it takes about 20, 21 pounds to win a lot of those tournaments over there. Right. So something's going on over there.
Yeah, it's getting good. That's awesome. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with not having a lot of pressure too.
Yeah. So yeah, it can't hurt. Like we were talking about on the way home. Last time I was over there, I saw 40 boats, but there would have probably been 140 boats had the other boat ramps been open. It's cutting down. It's a lot of work to if you got to put in the no wake, you gotta idle 3 miles to get to the main lake. Yeah. And a lot of guys aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, it's a nice scenery, at least that.
It is. It's a pretty idle for sure.
Let's see here. Cody Peel says same things with the temp dropping North Georgia Friday and Saturday, 85 to 36 degrees. Flat out gave them lockjaw. Yeah, dude, it's like I said, it's been like that here probably the last week, I would say.
Yeah,
what's going on, man?
Steve, I'm wondering what you caught your fish on, but that chatterbait and spinnerbait has still just been on. I can't believe that they haven't got used to it yet, but you can pretty much go on any lake right now and throw that shallow and catch fish still. I mean, it's been going on for 3 weeks.
Yeah, I threw the square bill a little bit last Saturday, just fishing around a bunch of timber in about 3 to 5 foot of water, but I just couldn't get anything to even touch it. I mean, it was just a tough day all around, but we'll get into our baits here in a second. Kind of catch up with these comments real quick if we can.
Yeah.
Let's see, they're having their own little conversation there. So, Jeremy said, I was just curious if Illinois was allowing out of state at the lakes, was told by some of the game wardens, was writing tickets out of the state for the out of staters. See, now that I haven't heard that, but I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me any. I mean, what do you think, Gabe?
Yeah, nothing surprises me. I guess I've just been lucky. I don't know. I've been over there several times and not had a ticket. I don't quite understand that, but I don't have to understand it for it to happen. Those guys, there's a couple of those game wardens over there that are pretty stiff. You know, yeah. I ran into one a couple of years ago, and it was not a good experience. But I don't know. Whatever. I guess.
Is that the one you tried to bribe with a donut?
Yeah. Oh, no. That was the one that we came back. We were fishing. We were at Cedar Lake, and we were fishing the point right outside of the boat ramp. We were within sight of the boat ramp, and we didn't have our running light on. And it was still light out, but technically, I guess sunset was like 5:07, and this was like 5:15 p.m. Yeah. This was in the fall, after daylight savings time or whatever, and we were just idling in. I mean, we could see perfectly fine, and the game warden was waiting for us at the boat ramp, and he ended up going through my buddy's boat completely, made sure we had the right size life jackets on, checked everything, fishing license, and he ended up giving my buddy like $130 ticket for not having his running lights on. And we pleaded with him. I mean, we're like, dude, we were right there. We were in sight of the boat ramp. There's still light. And he said, well, it was 5:07 is, official sunset. And I had you guys coming in at like 5:15. And if it would have been 5 minutes, I would have let you slide. But so, yeah, put your running lights on. I mean, I'd try to do that all the time now. If it's even close, I just put it on. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
And, I mean, that's a lot of money, $130.
Yeah, and I seen Jeremy Pickett on there. He said it was just a rumor. So. Yeah,
there's a lot of rumors going on right now. A lot of rumors.
Bob said everyone needs to check out Brian Latimer's last post. It was a fundraiser, and I think we could all get involved. I'll have to check it out. I don't even know what that's about, Bob. I'll have to go looking to see. Yeah,
I started watching a little bit of that early this morning before I took off. But he's been doing a lot of good stuff. He's a good dude.
Yeah, that's good. Oak said, back here, Bass, before I forget, I wanted to say thanks for all your support. We finally get to 375 today. A couple of folks in here have been incredibly supporting, and I appreciate it. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to see that. Glad to see you sticking with it and, keep it along. And tell you, it's not a fast growth. I will tell you that. It takes a little bit of building up that audience. And, I've got a lot of really, really good supporters. Gabe's got a lot of good supporters on here. Guys that are on here just about every week, always helping us out, pushing videos. We've got a lot of guys that share our videos on Facebook and Instagram, stuff like that. And we appreciate all of it. And it helps a ton, more than they probably know. So.
Yeah, it takes all this help to get us going. It really does. Tom says most Illinois game wardens are pretty stiff. Yeah, I run into a few of them.
Oh, let's see. Fishing tacos. All we need is the beer. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Jeremy's got one on here. Oh, where'd it go? Man, my comments are jumping again. Let's see. Wow, I
I've
must
got
be way behind. Holy cow.
I see one here from DJ. It says, Gabe, he just ordered the GoPro 5 you showed me. My man Rick Lamar hooked me up. Man, DJ, I think you'll like that camera. I'm about to order another one. I'm about to get another one. That's been a really good camera for me. So I hope you'll like that. If you got any questions on how to, how to operate it, anything like that, how I set my stuff up, just shoot me a message on Facebook. We can chat about it.
Yep. Oh, let's see here. Oh, don't forget to give that big thumbs up. Yep, definitely. Asleep at the Reel. How's it going, man? That's Gabe. I was telling you about this. Asleep at the Reel. That was the guy that does the Texas crappie fishing all the time.
Right. Yeah.
He's trying to teach me how to do this whole crappie thing.
I caught a crappie today on a swim jig. It's
Really?
cool.
Must have been pretty hungry. Dang.
Yeah. Surprised me. You never know. I caught a crappie the other day on a jerk bait. So those suckers are eating right now.
Yeah. Steve said my 10-year-old caught his new PB 7 pounds on a flipping jig. That's awesome.
Dang.
I guarantee you that was a fun bite. You tell him congratulations. That's awesome. Hopefully we get to see some pictures. Let's see. River Fisher says KVD and Mark Zeno went off on Instagram about they're still talking about that stuff in Michigan. One lost dude. California closed most lakes and saltwater. Only thing open is the Delta, and it's way overpacked. Yeah, that's I'm kind of glad you brought that up. Gabe's seen the small lake that I have here in my community, and it's like I said, it's 101 acres. It's not very big, and every time I've gone out there, there's been about 10 or 12 boats at least, if not more. And that's just in one parking lot. There's a parking lot at the other end. It's not quite as big, but you get 10 or 12 boats on a 100-acre lake. It is not much room to do much.
Yeah.
You mentioned there's a lot of kayaks out there now. There's been more kayaks in the past 2 years out there than I've ever seen.
You got a lot of bank fishermen too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting a ton of pressure right now. And like I said before, I hope that doesn't hurt it for the spawn, going forward, but let's kind of have to wait and see what happens. But I've heard a lot of people taking fish out of there don't need to be, or smaller than the legal limit, I should say. But
yeah, that's one of the bad things about people that start fishing that aren't normally, people that come out and fish that don't regularly fish. Some of them have a habit of just keeping whatever they catch and not knowing the regulations.
Right. Yeah. That'll ruin a place in a hurry.
Yeah, it sure will.
Simon, how's it going, man?
What's up, Simon?
Tonight. Thanks for joining.
What's up?
Steve runs a
Steve says,
4-inch swim bait.
There it is. Nice.
So,
that doesn't surprise me.
I don't think we're going to catch up on these comments. They keep rolling in so fast.
Keep on coming.
So I tell you what, I'll let you show your first pre-spawn bait.
Okay.
I'll show mine.
Okay. Pre-spawn bait. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to go with a jerk bait.
On there.
Yeah, when that water is, well, I just, even when it gets in the 60s, I was going to say when that water gets up in the 50s, I really start throwing this jerk bait, but I throw a jerk bait all year long. But when those fish are starting to move up and they're staging up on the points and outside the grass and stuff, it's hard to beat a jerk bait.
Yeah, it's pretty.
You can cover a little bit of water with it, but a lot of times they're still a little bit lethargic, and this thing just sitting there in their face. This is a Mega Bass Vision 110, Western Clown color. That's one of my favorite colors. I like the Table Rock Shad. This is good, and this is good all around. This is good in stained water, and it's also good in the clear water on sunny days. But something about the way this jerkbait flashes, it works really good in stained water as well. And the Table Rock Shad is a good stained water. For like clear water, I'm going with like a Pro Blue, and those overcast days, I like that French Pearl. And these are expensive, guys. The RC stick is a similar shape. It's got that 110 look to it, and it's about $8. And it's a good jerkbait too. I mean, I like the Lucky Crafts. The SP78 is a smaller jerkbait. If I feel like I want something a little more finessey, a little smaller profile. I like the SPDD. It dives down to about I don't know, 7 or 8 feet. That KVD deep diving jerkbait, it gets down there around 9 if your fish are down there a little bit deeper, which happens a lot. That's a really good jerkbait. I've been fishing that the last couple of years. But jerkbait, man, 8-pound test. I like 8-pound fluorocarbon. I've got this is a Lew's Custom Light. It's their topwater jerkbait rod. It's a 6'8" medium light. This rod's about $130. You might be able to find it a little bit cheaper, but you just need a rod that's got a soft tip, because you don't want to be moving that bait too far towards you. If you got a stiff tip, you're going to be jerking it and moving it too far. You got a nice soft tip, you're going to make those little twitches, and the jerkbait's just kind of gonna go side to side. It's not going to move towards you too much. And yeah, there you go, man. That's the deal for me.
So
what you got, Greg?
I'm a jerkbait fan, you know that. So I do throw them, but I'm just not a big fan of them.
Yeah,
I'm going to say for pre-spawn. Now this is probably getting close to that 60-degree mark. That's when I'm going to go with that square bill. I don't know if you guys see it all the way up there. It's kind of hard to see, but I hold it back here. But definitely the square bill. Reason I like that square bill is, one, just like I was saying a while ago, you know, I get in that 3 to 5 foot range there, where them bass on sunny days, especially, they're going to come up that shallow. They're going to be searching for bait. But the thing, kind of like the jerk bait, and the reason I like this, and I'm pretty picky on what square bills I actually go with. I can tell you for a fact the Guggen square bill is very, very buoyant and comes up very fast, which I don't like. I like something a little bit more that I'm going to go through that shallows. I'm going to throw this along and just pause it constantly. My cadence is never the same when it comes to square bill. It's constantly changing. You know, I'm moving it really fast, and I'll just kill it right there, and I'll let it set for 2 or 3 seconds, and I'll go back to just a couple twitches, start it back up, and then I'll run it again. You know, I'm constantly changing my cadence on there, which, you know, I've got a video on how I do that and everything. But for me, that square bill in the pre-spawn mode, like I said, when that water's getting close to 60, that's probably one of my top baits right there for search baits. I do have one more that you guys have seen in my videos plenty, you know, before now. But like I said, I'm just kind of targeting that like close to 60-degree water when those bass are really, really starting to munch, you know, before they're getting ready to go into that spawn. So that, you know, that pre-spawn mode. But as far as colors, I keep them pretty simple, honestly. I like the white and chartreuse, the sexy shad color, really good one. This one a little bit more of a stained water with that chartreuse side and that blue back. That's another good color. Just an all white one works really good in a muddy to stained water. But other than that, I mean, that's really about all the colors I use. I don't really go real big and broad with my colors when it comes to square bill. It's a moving bait. You know, they're not going to, it's something they're going to see flash by them, and that's what they're going to look for. So I keep it pretty simple with that. But move on to your second one there.
Well, I'm going to stay with crankbaits, man. I'll just show you some of the ones that I got a lot of confidence in the pre-spawn. Okay. You know, the rock crawler.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Spro rock crawler. This is what I'm going to be throwing in the pre-spawn when the fish are out a little bit deeper. You can get this bait down to 9-10 feet pretty easily on 12-pound tests. I'm typically throwing all my crankbaits on 12-pound fluorocarbon. And this is a spring crawl color. This is a great color when the water's a little bit stained. Say the water's, I don't know, 1 to 2 foot visibility, something like that. Great bait. If you haven't thrown these, highly recommend picking up a couple of these. They work really, really great. And if I'm fishing a little bit shallower in the pre-spawn period, I'm going to be throwing the DT6. And my favorite colors of the DT6 is this demon color. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that demon color is hard to beat in the spring. It's just got the traditional red. You know, everybody knows that fish really key in on red for some reason. I guess it's the crawfish thing. It's got that bright belly, and this is a flat-sided bait. You know, that rock crawler is just like the wiggle wart. It's got a lot of this going on. It doesn't seem like it would work, but I've caught fish in like 41-degree water on that bait consistently.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring up the wiggle wart next. That was,
yeah.
I didn't dig one out, but that's, you know, that's another great pre-spawn bait there that I use a lot.
It kind of goes against theory because, you know, you'll hear in cold water you want something that's flat-sided, and you usually do. But for some reason, that action it's just a reaction thing with that rock crawler and that wiggle wart. But the DT6 is a really good, and the DT10 is good as well if you need to go a little bit deeper. A lot of confidence in that. The Demon color, and I've got a whole big old mess of crankbaits here. And then there's just this crawl color that's a bright, really loud red. And then the other one that I like a lot is the Spro. This is the Little John. The Spro Little John. It's another flat-sided crankbait. This one gets down and around that 6 foot zone. You need to get a little bit deeper. They make the MD model that gets down 7, 8, something like that. This is a spring crawl color too. I like most of the time in the spring and the pre-spawn, your water's going to have a little color. So I like something that's got some yellows, some oranges, and some reds in it. I've got another DT6. I don't have it with me, but it's a shad pattern. It's got a little bit of red and yellow on the throat, and I've had a lot of good luck with that on Egypt. So these three right here, I'm always going to be throwing, in the pre-spawn.
What happened to let's bring like 5 or 6 baits on?
Dude, I got way too
man.
I'm buying a lot of stuff. My boat's outside. I got an advantage. My boat's just right there. It doesn't have a cover on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had to go jump up underneath my cover and have my wife holding it up so I can get in there, digging around in the dark.
You could throw a lipless in there too. I mean, sometimes the lipless will get them.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm gonna throw this one out there because everybody already knows this one. I have it tied on my rods in the boat, and I couldn't dig into my rod locker, so I just got the new one out. But that's going to be that War Eagle. That thing is just, you guys have already seen this year in my videos. I mean, I've been just smoking them on that thing. And then not just a War Eagle, just any spinnerbait in general, anything you get confidence in. In the springtime, one thing that I typically see a lot in the springtime, you go from one completely clear water to completely muddy water because of the rains and the constant change in temperatures and stuff like that. So I keep it pretty simple. I'm either going with white and chartreuse skirts. The War Eagle, I use the Sexy Mouse or the Spot Remover for a little bit clearer water. I can tell you my pond right now is so clear. I was actually telling Gabe before we got on, I actually took my GoPro down and put it down in the water, and I was filming a crappie on the bed. And I missed it. There was about 3 bass that come by that were about 3 pounds each. And I had just pulled the camera out, and I seen them coming by, and I couldn't stand still enough, and they just swam right back off, so I couldn't get it. But
that would have been cool.
I do have a crappie on there, man. He gets a little intense with the camera. He don't care for that camera sitting by his bed. He keeps coming up and looking at it and everything else. But yeah, it's super clear right now. And like I said, that Spot Remover on that War Eagle color or in that War Eagle spinnerbait has just been phenomenal this year. And I've slayed them pretty good this year on it. So that's definitely a big pre-spawn bait for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll touch on the spinnerbaits real quick too, because that's one of mine.
Can we see yours?
Yeah. You know what?
That big.
I let it out of the bag the other day, man, on that Kincaid video. So when in the late winter, when the water is still cold, I like a really big spinnerbait with a big Colorado blade. This isn't going on right now. The water's cleared up too much. You need really dirty water.
Yep.
You need like a foot of visibility or less is when this thing really shines. For me, maybe it works for you guys. I don't know, but I found that once that water starts getting clearer, my bites start tapering off with this. And as the water gets warmer, it seems to taper off.
Yep.
But this is a bait that I haven't talked much about. And a lot of people don't throw this, but this is just a 1/2 ounce buoy with painted blades. This works really good in the stained water too. With the water that's a little bit clearer, a little bit more finessey. It's not quite as big. I mean, you can see there's a big difference in these two spinnerbaits. The painted blades is a deal. And then if you want kind of a mix, this is just I think this is a Hackney. It's made by Strike King. It's got the little orange kicker blade on there. You see a little orange blade. Something about that. What's that?
Is that the Indiana blade?
I still didn't hear you.
Is that the Indiana blade?
Well, it's a turtle blade.
Turtle blade?
Yeah, it's like the turtle blade. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this little kicker blade, it has just a little weird flash. And sometimes they really get keyed in on these painted blades. You got to play around. And then one more spinnerbait. I got them all laid out here. Is this little War Eagle Finesse? This is the 1/4 ounce. When the bite's really, really tough, I can almost always pick up a few fish on this if I throw it around. So that's a spinnerbait. But let me talk to you about one more thing here.
You're killing me, man. I'm telling you, you're absolutely killing me here.
It's okay, man. It's okay. We're all in this together. I just got more access to stuff right now. So this right here is the spinnerbait and the chatterbait have been really, really playing the last 3 weeks on all these lakes in southern Illinois and Missouri. This is a jackhammer. I broke down and bought a couple of these, and a lot of people ask, is there a difference in the jackhammer and the regular chatterbait? And I think there is. This one thumps just a little bit more, and it seems to come through wood a little bit better. I mean, chatterbaits are notorious about getting hung up on any kind of wood cover, and they do. They're bad around wood. It's a pain in the butt, but this one seems to come through wood just a little bit better. So a white and chartreuse chatterbait, and I like this little the little dipper. It's made by Reaction Innovations. Just a little swim bait. This thing does really good. The other trailers that I like to put on there is a speed crawl sometimes, depending on how high I'm wanting to get it up in the water. This is down a little further in the water column because it's a
little bit
circle. Yeah, it doesn't have a flat side on it. If you want to keep it up a little bit, you want to get a crawl type trailer that's got a little bit of a flat side and gives it a little more lift. But yeah, this is a killer pre-spawn into the spawn bait, better bait. It's deadly right now. So I got more too, but we can go to.
Hang on, I want to. I've seen a couple in here. I've seen South Georgia Bass and RC finally made it and said, "Not let a fractured hip keep him out of the front of the Monday Night Live with us." He's a trooper. I seen then he put on there. Rick Lamar fished Perry Friday, had a few biggest around 3, but saw a 6+ floating dead.
Oh man,
that's not good. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. You got a lot of people out there fishing with. I know there's plenty of cat fishermen out there, and there's plenty of guys fishing with minnows. And I was talking to, I don't remember who it was today, actually. We were talking about crappie fishing. And he said, yeah, I'd really like to get on some bigger bass. And I said, look, when you're crappie fishing with those minnows, I said, you got to watch it because those bass will just inhale that minnow. Mm-hmm. I said, you'll end up with a hook all the way down in their gut doing that. I said, you got to be really careful. But no, I seen a couple questions here. One was Bass Guy 1960, a square bill with rattles or without. I keep it pretty simple. If it's the dirtier the water, I'm going with rattles. I go without if it's clear water.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the, like the KVD 1.5 is one of the most popular square bills out there, and it's silent, but they do make one with rattles, so a little bit harder to find. And most of the square bills I throw don't have rattles.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. But let me, Greg, while you do your next bait, I'm gonna go grab this DT6 on here. I saw.
Yeah, Tom, I was asking what color was the one with the red.
Exactly. It's on the deck of my boat out there. I'm going to go grab it. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll go on my next one here. So next one, guys, one of my all-time favorites here. And since I've even started throwing the moccasin ones, I love these things even more. But that's definitely going to be the swim jig. God, that light is just blowing it out there. Hopefully to calm it down there a little bit. Probably not. But anyway, the swim jig, I mean, just an all-around one of my top favorite baits out there. If I don't care if you're fishing around brush, if you're fishing timber, you're fishing rock, grass, whatever it may be, it is extremely, extremely hard to beat a swim jig this time of year. It's very versatile. Like I said, it doesn't get hung up very easy. You can swim it through just about everything. And when you get on one of these bites, it's unbelievable day. I mean, you're going to get a lot of bites in a hurry. And I'll even fish this all the way up into where they're spawning. You get these things around beds and stuff like that. I will change my trailers a little bit. As you can see on that one, it's got just double tail grub there. That's a really good trailer to use on those. But if I get into something like, where they're starting to get on beds and stuff like that, I'll get up to that Menace, which is a little bit bigger profile, and I can actually slow it down just a little bit with that bigger Menace on there and kind of keeps it planed out really good. But they work really well too. So I guess we'll We'll let Gabe get on his little crankbait back here.
Okay, this is that crankbait. This might be actually called a Helsinki shad, possibly. I don't know if you can see that color very well, but it's got this.
It's showing up good.
Okay, see the throat there? It's got that whatever color that is. I'm colorblind, guys. I just know it's not white. It's like something different. So yeah, this has been a really good bait for me. I've got another one somewhere that's even better than this one, and it is out of production because I cannot find the color. It's an old school something. It might be one of the Ike's old school colors, Ike's ink, custom ink or whatever. I'm not sure. But
you talked to Nate about maybe painting one?
No, I didn't. But that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. I'm sure he could do it up.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But for some reason, that if I'm not fishing a crawl pattern, I like this pattern right here.
Yeah,
and this does good in the stain water as well. Yeah,
South Georgia bass. What is your preferred trailer on the swim jig? Like I said, that twin tail grub there. That's a really good one there. I know it's kind of hard to see, that light's really blowing it out. But other than that, the Rage Menace is a really, really good top one of mine. And then just the Rage Crawl. That's another good one. I keep it pretty simple with them. I tell you, the one guy I can tell you to talk to is, Isaac from Moccasin Lures. That guy throws a lot of swim jigs, and he's got some pretty unique trailers he uses too. So, he could probably comment on that too and throw a couple of different ones out there that I'm not thinking about.
So I just got back from Kincaid, guys, and you're just talking about moccasin. This is a 1/4 ounce, the black grape moccasin swim jig. And I smoked them on this today, man. They were on that chatterbait a little bit, but when I started throwing this around, I started catching more fish. And I was using a Rage Crawl in there.
You didn't trim it down, did you?
Nope, full Rage Crawl. Because I'm fishing really, really shallow. That's why I went with the 1/4 ounce. And this Rage Crawl's got it's not totally flat, but it's more flat than, say, a swim bait or something. But you've got this, by leaving it long, I'm just leaving more surface, and these flippers keep it up off the bottom. So I'm able to fish it somewhat slow and also keep it up in the shallower water, because most of the fish I'm catching are around that 3 to 4 foot zone. So I was needing something that falls really, really slow. But I was telling Greg on the way home, this thing comes through cover really, really good. Like moccasin would be able to tell you why, but it's got this flat, the head's flat. So instead of it actually rolling over like some swim jigs will and grabbing, this thing will just glide over the top. And I was throwing it up in laydowns. I'll have a video probably maybe Saturday. I don't know, maybe Sunday. But I mean, I was throwing this wherever I wanted, skipping it up underneath overhanging trees. And I didn't have to worry about it. It was just coming through. It was pretty impressive. It's got a good hook on it. It's got a nice soft weed guard. But the black and blue was on today. So the water was probably about 2 foot visibility. So the swim jig is really good. The Rage Crawl, I like the Slim Paca, which is it's really flat. It's got a really flat surface on it. I like a little Speed Crawl on there. I'll even throw, if I'm throwing like a shad colored swim jig, I'll throw that little the Little Dipper, like I just showed you on the chatterbait. It's just a baby swim bait. You can even throw like a 4.8 Kitech on there if you want a bigger profile. If you're throwing like a 1/2 ounce jig, put a big old swim bait on there, and it's something that the fish don't see a lot. And you'd be surprised, a little 1.5 pounder can suck in that big old 5-inch swim bait, no problem. They have no problem sucking it in. That's what they're eating. They're eating big stuff anyway.
No,
but yeah, like Greg said, man, the swim jig is a killer. It's killer right now. Pre-spawn going into the spawn.
Yep. And well, just to answer your question, I go with the 4-inch on that double tail.
Yeah, the Menace. You said the Menace, right?
Yeah.
As a trailer. Yeah.
Yep. And Tom did say the Peach Throat.
Peach Throat.
Yeah.
For what? For the DT6?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that color. I got a color. I need to figure out what that is.
Yeah. So I guess you did bring a couple to talk about the bedding fish, correct? I mean, you've got half your tackle box in your living room right now.
Yeah, I got it. We can go post spawn too.
If we're gonna do that, I'm gonna have to take the video camera back out to the boat. I'll get the little tent out there.
Oh, nice.
So one, I want to throw this up. Just the crawl. I mean, I don't care. This is the Kraken crawl from the Googans or whatever, the Rage crawl. Any crawl like that in particular is going to work for bedding fish. It's something I really, really like, but I will say the one thing I do on these is I'm going to cut it off probably about that high. You know, you don't want a big, huge presentation on your bait because number one, they're going to pick it up by the pinchers constantly, take it off their bed and drop it. I mean, you'll run in, if anybody has ever bed fished, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what will happen constantly, and you won't get a hook set on them. So I usually use about a half a crawl. I do like fishing them, and I didn't bring one in. I thought I had some in here, but by the time I got back in there, I already had the boat button back up, and I didn't get back in it. But this is the finesse jig. Any of those small finesse jigs, you know, you take probably this much of that crawl right there and put it on that finesse jig, and just enough to give them tentacles or the pinchers a little bit of movement on that finesse jig, and especially the moccasin jigs because they'll stand up. They work phenomenal for that.
There's a little
there's one from there. So you get one of, like I said, cut it off about right there, and just use pretty much the head and the pinchers is all you're needing, and put it on the end of that finesse jig, and that thing will stand up like that right in their beds, and it will drive them crazy. So,
yep, that's
so you got a little chunk on there.
Yep.
And guys, I do want to throw this out. This is not a big secret to me. I just want to throw it out, maybe help you guys. And I'm hoping you guys can see this color without it getting blown up too much here. But this is it's that Guggen. I think it's called Natural or something like that. But it's a green pumpkin on the back and then almost a silverish green on the bottom. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I am extremely impressed with that color. It's worked very, very well. I used it a little bit last year. I used it this year, and I'm telling you, it looks great in the water. And coming down, you've got that real natural green on the top there. But if that thing, when it flares up and you get that little bit of a silver side underneath, it really, really works very, very well. So I'm pretty impressed with that color.
Well, we got the same ideals, man, on just about everything. So
yeah.
For the spawn, when they're really up there, I'm throwing a beaver a lot of times. Just the Reaction Innovations beaver. If I'm fishing in calm conditions and I'm fishing 5 foot or less, I'm just throwing a 1/4 ounce tungsten. 1/4 ounce tungsten weight, black. I like the black color. It doesn't really matter though. But I like a 4/0 flipping hook, just a straight shank flipping hook.
That's the
This is actually the VMC. I've been using the VMC the last few years.
Yeah, I'm a big Trogue car guy. I really like their hooks. I've never had any problems with them.
They're good
Not
hooks.
that I've had any problems with VMC, but I just
I like the one with the plastic keeper on there. You know, they make some of them that have the little piece of mono on there, or they have that wire that's kind of shrink wrapped.
Mm-hmm. They come unravel a lot, don't they?
They come unraveled. Yes, exactly. They don't last long. I mean, I've tried different brands and they just don't hold up. Even that jungle hook, that Owner jungle hook, it's a nice beefy hook. It's got that really slick finish on there, but they don't last. The Gamakatsu makes a flipping hook that's got the wire that's shrink wrapped. They just don't last. So I went back to the more traditional flipping hook, and some of the colors I like on the beavers, the Dirty Sanchez, dude, is and that's a great color. Green pumpkin, juicy. If you want something that's more black and blue, like the Hematoma, I guess is their version of that. Bruiser's another good color. If I'm flipping, so most of the time I'm flipping this around grass and a little bit of light wood. If I'm doing bushes, if I'm flipping a beaver in bushes or whatever, I'm going to be going with just an EWG. I like the Gamakatsu Superline hook. It's a little stouter hook, and I'll be going with like a 3/0, which is smaller than what most people think. But that smaller hook, you don't get the flex. The bigger the hook is, the more flex you're going to get. And that little 3/0 hook is a stout little sucker, and it gets in and out. Another thing that can happen when you're fishing bushes is that hook will actually go through the fish's mouth. And when you're pulling it up out of the bush, it'll snag on the bush itself. So you've got the fish hooked and you've got the bush hooked. You know what I'm saying? So that a little bit less of a gap. You got to have enough gap to get it, to get through the plastic and get in the fish's mouth. But if you're throwing like a 5/0 or something, you're going to get snagged a lot more.
Oh yeah,
it's just the way it is. And
and you brought up the beaver style there, and I've already told you too. One of my biggest beaver style baits out there is that missile D-bomb.
Yep. I was going to mention
water. I mean, I use that thing all the way up through April into May, just a little bit, depending on unless it's been really, really, really warm. But typically I'll use it all the way into May. And it doesn't have a ton of action to it, but it works very well. I mean, matched my my PB this year on there with it. So
that's a killer bait. Yeah,
it's all around killer bait. I love that bait. So
they make the it's a D-bomb, but it's got the little tentacles on it. I can't remember what that's called. I've got them. I can't remember. Anyway, that's a good punching bait. It's kind of like a cross between a D-bomb and a brush hog. It's got the little appendages on there.
Yeah, just a bigger body profile.
It is. And then if the bite is really finicky, the speed crawl.
Yep.
The speed crawl. You guys haven't fished this? Man, these are killer little baits. This is a more finessey bait, but you can rig this up on like a 3/0. I'm usually going with a 3/0 at EWG, the heavier one. I like the one that VMC makes. They make one that fits this 3/0 heavy gauge VMC hook. Fits this little speed crawl perfect. Same thing, 1/4 ounce. If you get a lot of short strikes, you can go in there with this, and they seem to get this a little bit better. If you want a little more action, you can take these flippers and just kind of, I don't know if it's going to show up very good, but you can kind of open them up, and that'll give you a lot more action.
I tell you what, that is a absolute killer bait.
Yeah, jig. It's so versatile.
Action to it, but it's so low profile, and it comes through everything. I mean, there's no drag to it. Is the thing,
right?
And little tails just kicking everywhere, or pinchers kicking everywhere.
I've caught 7-pounders on this thing. I've caught 7-pounders on this little thing too. So it doesn't just catch little fish; it'll catch some big fish too. You can use it on a Texas rig. You can use it on a shaky head Carolina rig. It's a really good Carolina rig bait. Just flipping it around as a trailer on a jig, or you got to have some of these in your tackle box. It's deadly.
I seen David's comment on here. I get what he's going there. Yeah, I'm not promoting those guys. Trust me. Ethan Rippenlinger coming on.
What do you say? Something about Guggen or something?
Do what? Oh, here, I'll show it up there.
Yep.
The Destroyer. Kevin got it. Yep, that's what it is. The Destroyer.
Yep.
So I'm going to throw this bait out there because I know Gabe fishes this too. So, and as far as bedding fish goes, it's a hard one to beat. That's going to be the old Cinco, Sticko, Cinco, trick stick. I mean, whatever you want to call it. Particular, this color right here. That's that. It's more of it's a completely clear chartreuse. It's a transparent chartreuse with pepper flake. For clear water, this thing is absolutely killer. The only downside is that with your bed fishing is extremely hard to see. I mean, it is almost completely see-through when you get in the water. But for clear water lakes, Kincaid, it gets really, really clear. You can get that up in the grass, and it works really, really well up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the baits I brought in. But I'll throw a wacky rig a lot.
Right.
Let me grab mine. I only got one more rod after this, so
I find that extremely hard to believe.
Yeah. So the Texas rig Cinco is awesome too, but I also like to wacky rig it. And I'm doing that on spinning gear. I got like a 6'10". It's a medium light action rod with I like the Sahara, the 3000 or the 2500. And I'm going braid. I'm going 15-pound braid to 8-pound fluorocarbon. And this is a hook that you guys should check out. This is a VMC weedless Neko hook, or Nico. I call it Nico, whatever. But it's got these little fiber guards on there. This hook is killer. I've went. This is the only hook I fish now when I'm doing the Nico rig or wacky rig. This thing is awesome. It comes through cover really, really well. It's not much, but it's just enough to deflect it. But 4-inch Yumdinger, 4 or 5-inch Yumdinger. This doesn't have the salt in it like the Cinco does. So if you want a faster fall, go with the Cinco. If you want something that falls a little bit slower, the Yumdinger. And this catches fish. This is great to put in the hands of a kid that wants to just catch fish. You can throw these around the spawning areas, and if they won't pick up that jig, it's something about this thing falling over their head. If they're guarding fry, this thing's falling through the fry. We're getting kind of post spawn here, but this little wacky rigged Yumdinger is killer. Try these hooks out too. They're really good hooks.
Yeah, I've had those hooks. I've had a lot of good luck with them too.
Yeah, they're great, man.
Yeah,
a couple years ago, and I've been really impressed.
So Bass Guy brings on a pretty good question here. He wants to know our opinion on white baits for bedding bass. I'm 100% involved with it, just because it's so easy to see.
Right.
If I get a bass that I can still see my bait and they're getting really hard and they're just not reacting to it a whole lot, I will try to go with more of a natural color. It's a lot harder to see, but sometimes that's what you have to do and just kind of take a chance with it.
Yep. You're exactly right. I agree with that 100%. It's the reason you're fishing white or yellow or whatever is just so you can see it. You see that bait disappear. I don't get a chance to do a lot of bed fishing around here, unfortunately, because the water is usually so stained. I mean, I'm catching spawning fish, but I'm just catching them without seeing them. I got to go to Lake of the Ozarks last May. I fished a tournament down there, and the water was clear enough that I could actually see the fish underneath the docks. And I caught several of them off a bed. It was fun. It was fun to actually, try to find that little sweet spot where they don't want it, and they'll turn around and circle at it nose down. And that was a good time. I've done it with bluegill. Bluegill are the same way. You can throw a little crappie jig in there and kind of work it around their bed. And
one other thing I think about when we were talking about the Cinco, one bait that I do use, we were talking about that private lake a while ago that I was telling you about.
Right.
It's really crystal clear water. And one of the things that somebody got me stuck on out there that I really started using quite a bit for bed fishing was that methylate floating worm.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very, very small split shot, about 3 inches up from your hook, and letting that just drag it in their bed, and that thing stands almost straight up when you do it too. But you got to trim it down a little bit, because they'll hit the back of it a lot. But that methylate worm works really, really good. But that's a whole nother thing with being able to see it, though.
Yeah, I've kind of I need to get those floating worms back going again. I used to fish those all the time when I was younger, and it's so many new things keep coming out every year that you find yourself going away from what always worked. And,
right.
And there's no reason that you're going away from it. You just got kind of sidetracked. It's good marketing by the fishing industry.
So I've got. Wait, what are you playing with?
This is my last bait.
This one. I knew it. I was going to say bedding fish. I was going to say I have a surprise that I bet a lot of people are not going to think about. And I should have known you'd have one out there somewhere.
I had this. Yep. So, the frog, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was just going to say, this is one bait that's and let me hold it up here because you can't see the dang thing anyway, not with my black shirt. But, that frog is way, way underrated for bed fishing. And people just don't understand. If you've ever fished a frog long enough into that season or tried fishing it while you're on while they're on the beds, you run a frog over it and just hover over that bed. And them fish will get so mad at that thing. And they'll tear it up in a hurry. And I just happened to kind of stumble upon that one time it's been many years ago, bed fishing. We were actually frog fishing, and I seen a bed, and I just happened to have that frog on there and threw it up there. And as soon as you get that thing over there and it stays still long enough, they can't stand that.
Yeah. So, yeah, they don't like it. You can, if you don't have grass, you can do the same thing with a popar. And if you've got a lot of holes in the grass, you can pitch a popar in there. But I think the frog, man, it's so versatile. But in the spawn, just like what you said, especially if you can see the fish, throw it out there, twitch it. You know, the shorter the legs, the less forward movement. If you get these legs really short, you can actually almost kind of walk it in place. I trim them up. That's probably about halfway, you know, and most of the time they come out of the pack, you know, and Greg showed me a little.
I'll say this one's a brand new one here. So,
yeah, so those are, I would definitely probably trim those in half, but you just want to leave it on top of them and twitch it a couple times, but try not to pull it forward. Try to make it move and just walk in place almost. The popping frog is good for that too, because it's got a lot of resistance and it doesn't want to move forward as much. The Spro, the Bronze Eye 65, I guess it is. That's a really good frog. This is the Ish Fat Frog.
Yeah, that's the river to sea. Yep.
I like this Cali color in the spring for some reason. It's got the yellow, and I think that yellow makes them mad. The yellow and the black. It could just be me. It's got the yellow and black legs. Killer Gill is another really good color. In the Spro frog, it's got some gray and black, a little bit of blue in it. But these frogs underrated. And it's right now it's starting to happen.
One thing I will throw out there, just to help anybody that's either new to fishing frogs or hasn't tried this yet, the loop knot. If you guys have not tied the loop knot on your frog, that's something you need to try to learn. I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world or nothing like that, but if you ever want to learn how to walk the dog with a bait, learn how to tie that loop knot. It will save you a lot of aggravation. I mean, you tie that loop knot, and I'm telling you, you could take a 10-year-old kid out there and have them walking the dog in no time. It really helps you out that much. So
yeah, I don't tie that loop knot, but I need to. It sounds like I need to be doing that.
I'm telling you, you were talking. Well, what made me think about it was you were talking about walking it in one place. With that loop knot, it takes such little, and I mean that bait will literally, like you said, walk right in place and doesn't hardly move at all. Just like you were talking about your jerk bait a while ago and having that soft tip and not wanting to move it far.
Right.
You know, that loop knot, you're jerking the slack, but you know, it's just that loop that's pulling on that nose right there. But it's got all that slack in that loop to just turn back and forth, and it's never coming hardly towards you.
Yeah.
So it works very, very, I love it. So
yeah, that's a big deal. Like sitting, you know, and another thing, I think it throws a shadow on the bed, like depending on the angle of the sun. It actually the frog will throw, or anything that's over the top of that bed will throw a shadow. And I don't think they like that either, but they, vicious strikes on that frog.
Yeah. I see Tom just put on there, said, has either one of you tried the KVD Perfect Frog with the rattles built into it? I think we had talked about that last year a little bit, actually. And we were convinced, I think I had one, but the thing we were worried about was being able to compress down with those rattles inside of that body.
Yeah. So you're not talking about just the regular KVD frog, right? It's a different frog.
Yeah, it's got the rattles built in.
Okay. See, I'll put. We've talked about this before. It's been a while, but I'll take actually BBs. You know, like you using your BB gun, and I'll put them inside of the frog. I'll usually put about 3 to 5 in there. If I'm fishing on a really thick mat, I'll put like 10. But if you put 10 in there, it's gonna sink. The frog's gonna start sinking. But 3 to 5 doesn't really hurt the frog much, but that gives it a little bit of noise, and sometimes it helps them find it on top of that mat. If I'm doing open water, I don't usually mess with it much. I've got frogs that got BBs and frogs that don't.
Right.
That KVD is a good frog though.
Yeah. Now Tom put on there something interesting. Don't throw a loop knot with braid. Tom, I'm just curious, what's the reasoning behind that?
Well, it's probably going to slide, I would think.
That's what I'm guessing he's going after there.
Yeah. We're getting on a frog tangent. I like frogs. This Terminator frog's awesome too.
Yeah, that's actually, I've got the black and red one when they first came out, and that thing has been just a staple of frogs.
Yeah, that's awesome. The popping version. This is a really good frog. Even right out of the pack, the hook angle is already pointed up, so you get a pretty good hook set. It's got a nice soft body. This is a really good frog.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad I made it through my like 5 or 6 baits, and you brought out 35. So.
I had a bunch. I was thinking about it on the way home.
I was busy trying to worry about getting film on that crappie bed down there.
So you You did get
I'm
some
hoping I
video.
can get some good footage there. It's
Cool.
with those bass. I mean, just late this evening, they finally started moving around quite a bit, and I've been seeing a lot of them. So disappointed because it will break almost every time. Tom, I bet put that to. I have not had any problems with it. I'm not saying you're wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. But I've used that a lot, and I've never had any issues with it. One lost dude says, "Do you throw the Booyah Junior Frog?" I do not. Do you?
I do. I got one right here. That little sucker right there. Some of these smaller ponds, like for instance, I've got the city park there has a lot of 12-inch bass, and if you throw the full size frog, they can't get it in their mouth. But this little Booyah, I think this is actually the pad crasher, the smaller one. Yeah, that thing's scary, dude. I got a dragonfly too that I bought. I haven't thrown it yet.
I'm waiting to throw this thing, man. I know they're going to rip the legs off of it, but we'll see how it goes.
Here's the bronze eye, and then here's the smaller one. It's quite a bit smaller, but if you got a pond that's got a lot of smaller fish in it, go to that smaller frog. You'll get the hook in them a lot easier. Sometimes they like the little frog because they're so used to seeing the big frogs too. You know, just a finesse option.
Denny, it's Booyah. Sorry, just like yelling that. I bet he's right in the middle of his living room doing it too.
Yeah, I see DJ mentioned the Zoom Super Hog. That's another good bait too for flipping.
Yeah.
I got a friend that's about all he throws.
Yeah, Rick Porter said, I like throwing the old big Excite worms on a shaky head. What are some other good plastic worms that float well? Robo worms has, or ow. Hang on. Okay. I'm going to put the spider.
Did it bite you?
It bit me right in the finger. So, Robo worms, they've got a couple out that are floating that I really like. That's actually probably one of the very first ones I ever started throwing. I think the Robo, I think people overlook them too often. I mean, they're great little baits. Their sizes are great. Their colors are great. They've got the one, it's called, it's something, Bleeding Bluegill, I think is the name of it. It's like a brown and chartreuse.
Yeah.
That's just a killer color right there.
Is that bold bluegill?
Do what?
Is it bold bluegill?
Something. Yeah, I don't remember. It's something like that. It's been, probably 7 or 8 years since I bought a pack of them. But yeah, and that's just like you were saying a while ago, like on to newer and better baits and just forget about the old ones that work, you know.
The original trick worm.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta, I don't know if they put salt in some of them, but I know you gotta look for the original ones. I got some here somewhere.
I don't think we're going anywhere. And David on here said net bait T-Mac worms float great. Yeah, that's another good one.
Yep, they do.
9-inch plastic with weightless.
Yeah, the net bait's got that pork in there.
Is that Sophia?
Huh?
Is that Sophia?
That was Ella. She's been working on projects. They're so bored, you know, school. They've been out of school for so long. They're coming up with they've been baking and making all kinds of projects. And
oh, you ought to be like 30 pounds heavier by summer then.
Yeah, see, we got a boredom jar here.
There you go.
No Corona boredom jar. You got popsicle sticks, and they just say random things. So this one says paint something cool. So if you draw this out, you have to paint something cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
This one is make a smoothie. So, got a little bit of everything. That's one good thing about this whole debacle that we're in is been able to spend a lot of time with the kids, you know, and the wife, and it's a lot of family time, a lot of creativity too going on. You know, you get bored after you can only watch so much Netflix and so much TV. You have to start doing research, and I've been seeing a lot of sidewalk chalk on my route. A lot of kids have been getting out with the sidewalk chalk and making like little
options. That a lot around here too. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Bass guy on there said paint a bait. Put that one on there.
What is it?
Paint a bait.
Paint a bait. Yeah,
they should definitely do. You know what? You should just let them go out to the garage and get your crankbait box, and they can paint them for you.
Mm-hmm. Get the fingernail polish.
Yeah.
Hey, I guarantee the fish haven't seen it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Completely original.
One of my students said, is clean the house written on most of those?
No, they didn't put that on there. Yeah, clean your room. That wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
Make your bed. Didn't see that.
Oh.
Yeah, I see Hank's talking about the white lizard, Dean Rojas, the white lizard.
Where'd you see that at?
It's up. I don't know. I'm probably in a different spot. I'm just kind of scrolling through some of these. Tom's favorite beaver colors are black and blue colors of the hillbilly, the hematoma, penetration, dirty Sanchez. They got some raunchy colors. Magic crawl swirl, watermelon amber. Yeah, they're all really good. Another good one is Floribama. Not many people fish that. That's a really good one.
That's impressive.
Son reached. Congratulations. Jeez. That's like
that's boredom for you.
You remember Google, like the word Google, and then there was Googleplex. It's like the infinity number. I don't know if you remember that. I learned that in school for some reason. That's kind of like getting to the end of the internet.
No, I didn't see that. Oh.
See, we went over the brand of frog.
Yeah, there was a lot of good questions in there. They were just booming in there.
Yeah, I see somebody talking about a lizard, 6 to 9 inch soft plastic lizard rigged weightless. That's hard to beat too. That's one lost dude. That lizard I don't fish a lizard as much as I used to. I used to fish that all the time, especially on the Carolina rig. That was the deal.
Black lizard with a chartreuse tail.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or just a watermelon chartreuse tail.
I tell you, they still work great for a Carolina rig down at Lake of the Ozarks. I mean, that's hard to beat on some of them points out there.
And
that's one bait the Carolina, I just don't fish nearly as much anymore. I mean, it's a great bait too to get some really good quality fish.
I went through a period where I didn't fish it hardly at all, and then when I started fishing Kentucky Lake, as a co-angler, it's a good idea to have one of those in your hand.
Yeah, especially if they're not leaving you much in the front.
Right, you throw a baby brush hog on there or a little speed crawl.
Yeah, I was actually Sooner that was on here a while ago. He got a brush hog in one of his, I think it was a monster bass box, and I guess he had not fished it or whatever. And I told him, I said, that's a huge bait. That's a great bait to have.
Yeah.
I fished it for many, many years. My wife, she actually caught her biggest fish on it, which was she's probably going to yell it in here any second, but I think it was like 7.15 or something like that. So she caught it on baby brush hog too.
As long as it wasn't 7.3.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk about it.
That baby brush hog is a good jig trailer too.
Yeah. That bait, when they come out with that thing for whatever reason, it had all the right movements, the tentacles on it, the pinch, everything. It was just a all around great bait.
Yeah, it really is. It's a confidence bait for me.
Let's see, Texas rig dragged over the logs is the way to go. Yep, David said everyone crush a thumbs up. Appreciate it, man.
Got to put all these baits away.
It's not. Where do you use them? Tom, it's mainly just on the frogs. Any walking baits like spooks, stuff like that, I use them on. Poppers. I haven't had any issues with it. I don't know. I seriously see your explanation with that. I could definitely see that happening. I just personally haven't had it happen. But
last time I used the loop knot,
probably the only one I throw it on that's braid. So
the last time I used a loop knot was I used to tie that on you remember the original Rapala floating minnow?
Mm-hmm.
I used to tie that loop knot. I think it was actually called the Rapala knot. It's a loop knot. And I haven't tied it since then. But man, that's a good bait too. I know we've talked about that a couple times. That's overlooked.
Yeah, it's a lot of those. I mean, you remember the brokeback minnow?
Yeah.
That thing was oh man, you take that thing on a pond and you just slay them with that thing. Let's see, Hank says the bacon rind lure from the Gambler Lures won a Bassmaster Classic for David Height, and a gambler is bringing them back. I have a few bags of the old ones in my boxes.
They're probably beef jerky by now.
Yeah. I wouldn't advise trying to chew on them, that's for sure.
Yeah, I remember the bacon around.
Yeah.
Basil bacon.
Yep.
Yep.
Georgia said he shared on Facebook too. We appreciate it, man. We do. We appreciate all the support. You guys are pretty solid supporters of this channel.
Yeah.
Everybody on here.
Rick's got a question. How many knots do you guys use on your rod selection? Me personally, I've been tying the San Diego jam knot exclusively for the last couple years. Before that, I was tying the Palomar knot. And that San Diego jam knot works great on braid or fluorocarbon. It's
now in your braid, do you have to give it a little bit extra because of the slip?
I go 6 wraps on it.
Yeah.
6 to 7. You know, with the fluorocarbon, it's 5 to 6. If I'm going lighter line, like say I'm tying 8-pound fluoro, I'll usually go an extra wrap. So say 14-pound fluoro on up, 5 wraps works. If I'm going 8-pound test, fluoro, 6 wraps, and then braid 6 wraps.
Gotcha.
And I've had no problem with that knot whatsoever.
Yeah. And I'm a big, I've used the polymer knot, and there's nothing wrong with it. I really don't think so. I just have a lot more confidence in just the regular fisherman's knot. Wrap it around 6, 7 times, run it through the loop. That's been fine. If I'm fishing braid, and I use that knot, I'm going around about 9 or 10 times because of the slippage. But it's always held up really good. I mean, I've never had any problems with it. The loop knot was the other one I throw on topwater stuff that I'm on a walk. And then other than that, the biggest knot I probably use for flipping style is definitely the Snell knot. That's probably my favorite knot right there to go with on flipping, especially any flipping hooks. I won't tie anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I used to tie the fisherman's knot or the same similar knot to what you're tying. And I never had a problem with it. And then a guy named Gordon Brookman taught me the Palomar knot.
I know Gordon. Well,
yeah, he passed away recently, but he taught me that knot down on Truman. We were fishing a Federation State tournament down there, and it was quicker. So I learned it, and then I just stuck with that, and I never thought anything about it until probably about 4 years ago. I started tying that San Diego jam knot, and that's all 3 of those knots have worked fine for me. I'm just kind of doing the jam knot thing now, and I when I'm punching, I still tie the jam knot too. I don't do the Snell thing.
Yeah, I really now the Snell knot, and I've did a whole video on that Snell knot. Why to throw that thing, and it makes perfect sense of why you do it because of the weight going down, and it always flips that hook up. And I wish I had one in here, but
yeah,
but it always faces that hook straight up.
Yep.
So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it's kind of I haven't noticed a difference either way, so it's a little bit harder for me to tie. You need to show that to me again. I used to tie it, and I haven't tied it in a while, and I got away from it.
Yeah, was it the Snell knot?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I tell you what, that's one of it's on a flipping hook. Now on a regular straight shake hook, it's a little harder to do, but on the trail cars, or like you said, you're throwing the VMCs, it's really, really simple. I mean, there's really not much to it, but yeah, it's like I said, it's one of my favorites. That's for sure.
Yeah. I didn't like it because it makes my line twist a lot more. It seems like because that cam action, when you're pulling up, it gets a,
oh, I 100% agree with you. It does make a twist.
That's why I quit using it. So
yeah. I seen Bass Guy 1960 put on here, first timer to the show, but we'll definitely be back. We'll also share with my Facebook fishing buddies. That's awesome, man.
Good deal.
Appreciate it. So Tom says, I used to, hang on. I use sleep knot across the board on a lot of things before over sprint split range. I would remove around split rings on the crankbaits and the taut loop. Also, I found a loop knot on a swim jig. Really have a lot of action using a loop knot.
Okay.
Well, I can see that definitely. Like I said, that slack in that loop is what creates that action. It works really, really good. So I could definitely see that working.
I use a snap a lot. I mean, any of my trebled baits, like my crankbaits, jerk baits, I use a snap. I've been doing that for forever. I've not had any problem with it. That way I can change. I can change really, really quick. I'll have 3 or 4 different crankbaits laying there on the deck, and if I want to try different colors, I just pop that snap off and change the bait out and go to it.
Yeah. I seen Ron put on there, said had a great duck hunt with Brookman. Good guy. Yeah, he was. I got to fish with him. He was an all around great guy. Absolutely. Let's see. Tom said talking tech. Oh, talking tech still sucks. That's loop knot, not a sleep knot. I was wondering where you were going with that, Tom. I thought maybe there's another knot out there I didn't know about.
Yeah.
Oh, he said he had to grab a shower. Glad you're still at it. Yeah, definitely.
DJ Hall got 1 vote for the C rig.
Yeah, like I said, you can't throw the C rig out anytime. I mean, it's I don't know. I look at it as no different. I mean, it's just another technique that's out there, and that you can do it multiple different ways, but it just absolutely catches fish.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most of the time it's a little bit better quality fish out there, in my opinion. I don't think you grab nearly as many as the smaller ones. Let's see. Bass Guy said, only problem with a snell knot is getting the old knot cut off when you're retying. I will 100% agree with you there, man. Yep. I keep a little razor blade knife just for that.
Yep. You got to take your pocket knife and run it up the shank.
Yep.
Or a razor blade, either one. Yep. Rick's got a good question. Is there a good knot for light line spinning gear for largemouth bass? Yeah, that San Diego Jam knot works great, Rick. As far as tying, if you're talking about tying your braid to your leader connection, if you've got time and patience, the best knot is the FG knot.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's tricky. I'm going to learn it. I spent about an hour on it about a year ago, and I was like 1 for 10 on the knot to get it lined out. But I need to sit down and spend some more time.
Yeah, I still use the W-uni knot, which, I mean, for me, it's fine. But I would say if you're one of those big guys that, throwing like big crappie rods or something, you've got a 15-foot leader or something like that, I would definitely say that any smaller the knot you could go would be better. Definitely. Yeah.
The Alberto knot is another good one. I got a video. We call it the Jay Blattel loop knot because my buddy Jonathan Blattle showed it to me, so we just kind of had some fun with it and named it that. But that's probably the simplest knot that's strong for the braid to leader connection on the spinning rod.
Yeah. But now I will say with that uni knot, if you do the uni knot from braid or fluorocarbon to braid, anytime you're using braid, you definitely, like I said a while ago, you have to do extra loops on that. Mm-hmm. If not, it will slide on you. So, and White said he recently saw someone using a snell knot on a drop shot rig. I wonder how that worked with the. I guess I could see it. Yeah, definitely it would keep it up. So
I just use the Palomar knot and run that knot back through the eye. Run your tag line through and pull it through.
Yeah, that's where it keeps it.
Makes it stand out. Yep.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yeah, Hank said the modified C rig that I did on video on works very well. Yeah, that's a good deal. It's a cheap way of getting away from that. A C rig's a Kelleron rig is expensive. If you start messing with your glass beads and that big weight and your swivels and everything else, it gets pretty pricey every time you lose one of them. Let's see. One Lost Dude says improved clinch knot is the only knot I use. Only had one failure. Yeah. That's another good one. I hear a lot of people use that clinch knot.
Yeah, most knots, if you take your time, you tie it properly, you don't have your line going back over your other section of line. Like that's a problem that people have with the Palomar knot with fluorocarbon is they don't tie the knot properly. And I'm guilty of it too, you don't want that line to cross back over itself because it causes extra friction. And then always want to lubricate it, just spit on it or whatever and slide it down. That's a big deal because that keeps the friction down. Usually it's one of those two things that causes a knot to fail. It's the friction when you're actually cinching up the knot, or it's not actually tying it properly, having one side of the line crossing over the other side. But most knots are pretty strong if you tie them right.
Yeah, Whitewell said the FG, I've been trying it a lot and getting quicker. I think the easiest and fastest braid to leader is still the crazy Alberto knot.
It is. That's the one I was talking about. Yeah. That's a good knot too. Ron's on here. He's a guide from Mille Lacs and he catches those big smallies on that knot,
Yeah.
It holds up. The only thing I will say about that knot, it's not a knot. It's not got high shock strength. So if you were to tie that knot, say on a punching rig where you got 50-pound braid, say 20-pound fluoro, and you're whacking them, you're going to break that knot. But on a spinning rod, or even 14-pound test where you're throwing a moving bait where you're not setting the hook, you're just kind of leaning into them and sweep setting, that knot works great. You just don't want to be jacking fish with my knot because it will break.
Yep. I've seen South Georgia Bass NRC said he's calling tonight. So said see you all later. David said beauty night is all you need. Definitely, man. That's where I'm at.
Yep.
Yeah, one lost dude said the one time he had a failure was from decades of use.
Right. You got to retire every once in a while, one lost dude.
Yep. Any knot that requires that much practice is not going to be my knot. Tom, I'm kind of under the, I don't know. I'd like to learn it just to see it, and use it a couple times. I've tried tying it, but it's hard. And if you don't keep sticking with it, you're not going to remember it. Not in my case, at least.
Yeah. Ron must have knew I was going to talk about that knot.
Yeah, he put it on there.
Yep. Yeah, I do like the Jay Blutel loop knot. It's got a better name to it. I did get in trouble though by somebody. Somebody kind of got on my case by changing the name of the knot, and I was just kidding. He said, "Oh, that's why I don't like YouTubers, because they just change things and blah blah blah." And,
why would you do that?
I'll never do it again. I felt horrible. Yeah. I'm like, dude, chill out, man. I'm just playing around.
Is that why you still carry a bag of donuts in your boat for the?
That's right.
Yeah.
Roll of toilet paper and a bag of donuts. Hey, you never know what's going to come walking down your lane.
Yeah, Whitewell said, Tom, it's really not that bad. I can tie it in 30 to 40 seconds. It's truly super thin. Sometimes you cannot hear it going through the guides. Yeah, see, that's why I'd like to try it. Like I said, the uni knot, I mean, you hear it going through there a lot, which I don't care about hearing it. But if I'm fishing like my finesse stuff, a lot of times I go to throw it, it does mess up the throw. I mean, when it starts grabbing them eyes coming out, so.
DJ, you need to hope not. You hope it holds because you can't see the diet. You might be on one of them seafood diets too. I'm on that seafood diet a lot.
One lost dude says, I can't figure out how to tie a polymer knot. That's actually a really easy one. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's all you have is an overhand knot. I mean, it's really simple. If I had some line in here, I'd show you real quick, but
I'll show you real quick.
You got line there you can see?
Yeah.
There you go. I'll say pretty much all it is you're doubling your line. You make a loop or a regular overhand knot, and when you get that tag in that's closed, you just bring your lure through that and then cinch it down. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Gabe must have went back out to his boat, I guess. Oh, I think he did.
Sorry. Weird.
There you go. Get my vis line.
Yeah, I had to go get some yellow braid. This is pretty thin, but you can still do it.
Pretty good.
Yeah, let's see. Let's grab a jig. Jigs are easy.
Yeah. Now that you got half your tackle in your living room.
Yeah, I got a little bit of everything in here for sure. All right, let's just got a 1/2 ounce jig here. So gonna take your line and run it through the eye. I don't have that good eyesight either. So so you run through this way and then you're gonna come back through the same way. So initially you're just doubling the line. It's gonna look like that. Let me see, let me hold it up for you here. So it's just double through there, okay? You got your loop. Your loop is right here. Your tag is right here. So what I'll do is I just take my 2 fingers and lay it on the line on the tag side, and just make a loop like this, and I'll pinch it right here, and then I just come through. You're just making an overhand knot. So you got an overhand knot just like that, okay? And I go ahead and I go all the way down with it, cinch it down. And then you just take this loop, you got a loop now, and you run your jig through the loop. And you're going to bring this loop up to the side. Now, this is the part where I'll moisten it. I'll just put a little slickness on there, and you're going to grab your tag. Okay, and you just pull your tag up. And that's your Palomar knot. Probably wasn't that great. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you're going to have a tag line right here, and you just trim that tag off right there. That's just a Palomar knot. It's pretty straightforward. The most important thing is to lubricate this thing before you pull it tight. And some guys don't do this, but when I do the overhand knot, I pull the overhand knot all the way down to the eye, because what will happen is if you don't do that, you'll get this whole section of your line will get all squiggly and it'll get burnt. You're going to break off right there. But if you tie it down, that overhand knot, and tie it all the way down, you don't get that squiggliness.
Yep. Just make sure you have enough slack on the other end.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully that helps you. It's a little bit hard to see. The best way to tie a knot and show people is to get like some big twine, like some white twine, and then get like a big saltwater hook. You can really see it and get a good visual that way. But that San Diego jam knot is another good one. I'll show you that one real quick. We'll do another knot.
Whoa, BP Fish is in the house. What's going on, man? So they said they could see it, so that's good.
Good.
Rick Porter says, "How about that San Diego jam knot now?"
All right, brother. Here we go. Okay, so this I got a little swim jig here. Now this is the knot I love. I love this knot a lot. So you're just going through the eye like that. Give yourself some slack. Here's my tag line right here. This is my main line. And I'm gonna take the tag line and I'm gonna pinch it right here. Okay, so here's the tag right here. And you're just going to wrap it. Let's just go 5 times. With braid, I usually can do 6. So I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just wrapping it around your line like that. You'll have a loop right here. Take your tag line, run it back through that loop, and then just moisten it. Just pull it up. No, that didn't cinch up like it's supposed to, but that's it. That's the San Diego jam knot.
Yeah, that's pretty close to a snell knot. So,
well, it's really simple. You know, the thing I like about that knot is it's and when you tie that knot, if you just got like a regular hook, it won't work. You need some weight on there, because when you're trying to swing, if you don't have any weight, it just gets really squirrely and you can't hardly do your knot. So, you know, you can tie it quick. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna go through that loop, gonna grab it, moisten it, pull it, slide it down. That's it.
My only
like 10 seconds.
Is when you're tying that, is there a way to get your tag in facing down the other way, so it's not grabbing everything?
No, you'll trim that. You can trim that tag in as close as you want. It won't grab. I mean, I'll go right up against the knot with it and trim it.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of guys double it. They'll run through and then back through, and it's a double San Diego jam knot. I've never done that. My buddy Jerry, he does the double, and you'll use another 8-10 inches of line, you know, with that knot. So if for some reason, if this knot's not working, you can double it. You just go through the eye twice, like go in and go back out, and then do the San Diego jam knot with the double line. But yeah. I've never had a problem with the regular one. It's super quick.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those dudes said that's similar to the improved clinch knot. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a lot of knots when it's on the eye. I mean, it has that same kind of cone shape.
Right.
But it's a good strong knot. I haven't had any problems, and it's the same knot I use for punching too. I'll tie this knot with a ounce and a half weight on 50-pound braid, but I'll wrap it like 6 or 7 times with the same knot. So it's good shot. You know, it's a good shock knot as well as just a moving bait knot. It works great in both applications.
Right.
And I've got a big, nice fat groove in my pinky. That's a problem with braid. You know what I'm saying, Greg?
Yeah.
That knot, you wrap it around your pinky.
Really good.
Dug in.
Especially when it's brand new. And it's got a finish on there.
and this is like 15 pound, you know, which got like 4 pound diameter. So
make sure you eat some McDonald's French fries tomorrow. It'll remind you that it's there.
Oh, the salt.
Salt, yeah.
Yeah. Some lemon juice or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Denny said we need to have a broadcast from our boat. We talked about doing it outside here, so I think
we can do that.
Work. We gotta rig it up and figure out how we can do it. So, and I'd really much rather wait till the weather's a little bit warmer. Like I said, we have flurries here tonight. So, but all right, guys. Well, that was an hour and 40 minutes. So I'm glad everybody stayed on. I think it was a pretty good broadcast night. So
yeah.
And we'll be on Gabe's channel next Monday, so make sure you guys remember that. We'll put it back on Facebook and everything, probably over the weekend and everything. We'll be on there, but kind of broadcast a little bit. So
yeah, I got a fun video coming out Wednesday. It's me and my daughter Ella went to Lake Gerardo, and it was just kind of a family daddy-daughter fishing video. So if you guys get some time, I'm gonna drop it Wednesday. Check it out. I think it's really fun. I'm kind of biased, of course, but I think it's kind of cute to see, you know, little girl out there catching fish on a wacky rig. It was fun. She's got a name for the wacky rig and everything. I won't do a spoiler alert or anything, but it'll be fun. You guys will enjoy it. So
yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate everybody being here tonight, and we will see you guys all again next Monday on Tin Horse Monty's channel. So
all right, guys. Till next time.
See you guys.